Hey everybody, welcome to the third episode of Knowledge Check, the fighting game trivia show hosted by myself, where I bring in other folks from the fighting game community to test them on their obscure knowledge of niche and otherwise interesting fighting games. Today's episode we have Toast Rider on. He is a TO and otherwise indie game and niche game enthusiast. They are best known for, I think, promoting Samurai Shodown, as well as other indie games like Murfight. So, Toast, you want to say anything else before we start?
Doesn't get much more niche or interesting than me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So if you're unfamiliar with the premise of the show, essentially we're going to ask Toast 5 different questions pertaining to 5 different fighting games. We're going to look at moves in particular, right? So not a character holistically, but a specific move that they may have, whether that be a normal, a special, a super, whatever. And I'm going to ask, is it good or is it bad? Is it busted or is it Basara? So pretty simple premise. We'll see how we do. So are you ready to go, Toast?
Yep, I'm ready.
Alrighty, let's go. So question 1. We have Timpani Drive from Skullgirls Big Band. It is a super move. Is this move busted or is it Basura? Or Basara?
Do I get to see it? I can't see anything on screen.
Oh, yes. I forgot to share my screen. There you go.
Every move is good if it's invisible, you know.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
reptile effect.
There you go. Can you see that?
Timpani Drive. Okay. It looks like the hitbox is kind of disjointed. It looks like it might be, I don't know, like a jump in or an overhead or something like that.
Oh, by the way, you can ask me any yes or no questions you want to ask. I will answer them at my discretion, but it's for fun, so there's no point in not breaking the rules.
Okay. It looks like there's a little jet fire or something coming out of the bottom of him. Does this attack change his trajectory in any way?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's like a mix between a float and like very minimal vertical height.
Okay. If that is something that is done in the air and can be done low to the ground,
Yeah.
I would guess that this is a good move.
Okay. Is that your final answer?
See here. The description says that it is a super move.
Yes.
Okay.
It is a super move. Absolutely.
All right. So I would assume that it's something that could end like an air combo or something like that too. I'm gonna go ahead and say that this move looks good to me.
Okay.
The hitbox is pretty disjointed. Anything that can change a character's air trajectory is normally a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that it's a super move, it's going to have a super flash. It's going to be something that, if you throw it out raw, can probably be reacted to. But
Yeah.
I'm going to guess that this is probably good as a combo ender, or if you said that it has a very low minimum height, maybe as a quick overhead if there are, or high profile something if they're already committing to something else.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
So
I mean,
that would be my argument, is that this is probably a good move.
that's a really good analysis right there. I'll give you that. And let us see. There we go. Yeah, I would say it is busted.
There we
While not the sole reason to play Big Band, an aerial reversal that can be comboed out of is quite a good tool in his kit. I've heard Skullgirls players actively complain about this move, so I'm taking it on anecdotal evidence. But we also have a clip from the wiki entry. So it is a mid. It does hit mid, and it's invulnerable through the full startup. It does a pretty chunk of damage, right? Obviously costs a bar. -10 on block, but you're aerial, so it might be harder to punish. And it has a ton of different hits, right? You see the active frames? It's just a ton of different hits. So,
Okay. So that's going to blow up anything armored.
yeah, and that exactly. And Big Band has a parry, so if you're fighting another Big Band, it might be difficult to parry. Either way, the description says Big Band beats a set of timpani drums, hitting below and around himself as he hovers. Holding a direction during the attack will control Big Band's hover, which lets him follow the opponent through the air and connect with all 16 hits. The opponent lands from the final hit, hits knockdown before Big Band lands, so he can contribute or continue a combo after Timpani Drive if he's in range to OTG with an air normal on the way down. If any hit from this attack is blocked, Big Band cannot block or perform any actions on the way down, and the first active frame is vulnerable, this will cause improperly spaced meaties to trade, often in Big Band's favor. And
Oh, okay. So find to just throw it out, even if it's not technically a reversal. It's
yeah,
only not a reversal if it actually gets stuffed.
yeah, exactly. It
And
has some
I
invul
don't
on
know
startup, but
Skullgirls
not in the first frame.
I don't know Skullgirls terribly well, but I gotta say, Big Band is one of the coolest designed characters I've ever seen.
I know it. I know it. Just one of the coolest characters, bar none. All right, so now we get to watch a little bit of footage of Big Band in practice here. This is from Combo Breaker 2023, the Skullgirls Top 8. Let's actually find the footage of the character. Oh, it's Big Band is being played by Wing Zero. So here we go. And I love that Dick Tracy costume, color palette.
Oh, I know, right?
All right. So they're getting kind of beat up here, but I want to see, is there... Okay, coming in for the assist. That assist is, by the way, was one of the best assists when it came out. I don't know if they nerfed it at all, but just an incredible invul kind of assist, and then it combos afterwards. So yeah, I don't know if there's a Timpani press clip here, but either way, oh, maybe this isn't Timpani press, but
Got one?
maybe not. But either way, we'll get there. And oh, here we go. Is this going to be it? This is the last time I'll clip around, so maybe not. No, this is Wing Zero getting hit. But either way, you've seen Big Band, and he does his thing. You know what it looks like.
Hey, he's fun to watch. I love that character.
Absolutely. All right, number 4. This is Ino, her 8B, a.k.a. Jumping B, from Super Naruto GNT 4. First of all, are you familiar with this game? And second of all, is this normal busted or basura?
I'm not sure if it was GNT4 specifically, but my entire familiarity of the Naruto fighting games is several of my friends just kind of playing them in my peripheral vision while I was busy playing Magic the Gathering in high school. So.
Hey, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Gosh.
So, for context, this is not regular Clash of Ninja 4, aka GNT 4. This is the modded version for the English community because it never came out in North America or Europe. So this is a modded version, so it does have different gameplay, but it also is an English patch.
I'm not exactly sure what she's doing there with what the green glow is, or why her foot is sticking out at that angle, but it looks to me kind of like, I don't know, maybe this is like an air-to-air for hitting somebody directly above you with the foot going at that angle.
I'll give you some context. She is doing a flip.
Oh, okay, a flip. Okay.
Yeah, she's like mid-flip, and the green thing I think is just like her gaining meter, like chakra. So.
Oh, okay.
I think it's incidental.
I also am aware that these games don't function the way that traditional fighters do. So doing something like that, a flip would suggest either an overhead or an anti-air, but the rules are completely different for this game.
Yeah, I don't think there's high and low blocking in this game as much as it's just pressure.
I'm gonna guess that this move sucks.
Oh, okay, interesting.
I mean, based on just based on kind of intuition here, because again, the rules of fighting games that I'm familiar with are completely out the window for this type of game.
Yeah.
So while normally in like a traditional 2D fighting game, flip kicks are generally pretty good. They tend to be like either fast overheads or something that is just kind of safe to throw out and advance a little bit. I'm going to guess, just because the rules are different, that this move is bad.
Okay. I think that's pretty sound analysis right there. I think if it was a traditional 2D fighter, you'd be right in to say that like a jumping overhead like this would be really impactful, but not having overheads does kind of diminish the meaning of the move for sure. I also want to mention, if you know anything about Naruto, Ino is kind of a forgettable character. That's not like a knock against her. I think it's just the nature of the beast, right? She was pretty important as like Sakura's foil in the first arc, but other than that, so
I watched the show when I was 16. Every nerd watched the show when
That's
they
true.
were 16.
That's
I remember
true.
this character. I remember her kind of showing up, doing like, everybody does their unique thing.
Yeah.
And then just I don't remember. I never finished the series, but I don't remember them really doing a whole lot with her.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
maybe she remained forgettable the whole time.
Yeah, we'll see.
What I do remember is was that guy who was filled with bugs. I like him.
Yes. Oh
Guy.
God, I love him. There's I want to say like
He's like the
Shino or
Bane from
something.
Metal Gear
Yeah.
Solid,
So cool. So cool.
filled with
Um.
bees.
Yeah. What was it? The Pain was his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So we're going with
Anyway,
garbage.
yeah, I'm gonna guess that for this one.
Okay, great. Got it. Let's see. All right, we're going to look at the wiki entry first. Let's see. It's got 14 damage. Oh, it does hit mid. I wonder what that means. I don't know if there was high and lows in the game, but either way.
Maybe it's the kind of thing where like some attacks can just be ducked under. Kind of
Oh,
like
yeah,
a,
maybe
like
that is the case. Maybe that is the case. So we have a startup of 8 frames. It's active for 8 frames. 28 frames of recovery, but I do wonder, since it's a jumping move, I wonder how much that matters. This is one of her new attacks in the mod, right? So it's not available in the original version of the game.
Okay.
I guess it causes a launch, and it beats hyper armor, although it's throwable for the first 6 frames. I'm assuming that's pre-jump frames. It's mostly used to extend juggles or airborne tag opponents, or tag airborne opponents, excuse me. It can hit a grounded opponent, but requires their hurt box to be extended. Okay. And then the text says,
always good.
Ino is one of the most drastically changed and improved characters going from vanilla to super. The acrobatic mind transfer jujitsu user has transformed into a rushdown powerhouse with a toolkit that empowers the player to constantly keep pressure on their opponent. With more unique movement options due to her ring mechanic, she can keep her prey in a mix with multiple layers, allowing her to continue an offense while still retaining options to remain safe. As another way to put it, she's playing DBFZ while everyone is playing GNT4. So yeah, she
nice.
got
This
super
one is
buffed in
good.
this version. And
Okay.
if you see professional Eno players, they will just be jumping around the screen like mad women. It's actually quite impressive.
Nice. I may have to look at some footage of this game then.
Ah, well, we
Oh,
have
yeah,
some right
we do.
here.
That's right. That's right.
Yep. So let's see that jumping button. This is against Gara, and one thing I know about Gara is they have some really good tech chase. So if you like tech out of a combo, they have moves that will hit on either side of them and hit you regardless.
Okay.
But Inu, or Ino, I don't know how you pronounce it. She like kind of always wants to be in the air in this version of the game because of that buff to her jumping hit, and also I think she has an extra move that lets her kind of teleport in the air. Let's see if she does it. I won't put you through too much of this,
I think
but I
I
want
saw
to
it a
see.
couple of times earlier. Wasn't that the flip there?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, she's got like
Yeah.
some.
She wants to.
some
Yeah, and she's
special
always coming down
combos.
with it. She's always coming down with that button. It's almost like Nova's jumping heavy attack.
Oh
in
yeah,
Marvel, you know
the
what I mean?
dolphin kick.
Yeah.
That was
Exactly.
like one of the few loops that I learned how to do in Marvel 3 was,
Yeah.
was
It's so
Nova's,
fun. It's so fun.
dolphin kicks.
Yep. And her combos usually lead to the air, so it's not like she, you know. Oh, and that's another thing. Even if you're back turned, it will still hit the opponent. So even right there, she's doing it in a neutral
Oh.
jump despite her back turned opponent, and her opponent has to back up. So that's
Okay, nice.
another example of it just being really buff. All right. So let's go over
Yeah, okay,
to
so that's a good one.
yeah,
All right.
absolutely,
Yeah, you
absolutely.
got me there.
Let's go over to number 3. This is Heavy Tex from Robo O, and it is their light quick draw. This may have been changed. I believe this has been changed in the newest version, but in the version I played, this is how it worked.
So he's handing out flowers to his opponent.
Yeah, instead of pulling his gun.
That's wonderful. Like you know, whether this move actually is good or not, I want it to be good.
Yeah, right.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. So I think the way it works now is you can do the light version and it'll pull out the flower, and if you do the heavy version, it pulls out the gun. You can correct me on that. Any
Okay,
Robo
so it's
players?
like a fake fireball.
I think so. But the
Well,
original
fake fireballs
version,
are always good.
the original version that we're going to be talking about today was not. It's not an all. It was a matchup based move as opposed to a alternate version of your move. So it replaced it in a matchup as opposed to something that you could do on purpose. Does that make
Oh,
sense?
okay. So if he's fighting a particular character, he pulls out
Yes.
the flowers instead of the game.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So that was the old way it
Oh,
works. I'm
that's.
pretty sure they changed it, but we're going to be basing it off the old way because that's all I know.
Oh, I'm gonna guess like if it's something only for a specific matchup, I would
Hmm.
guess it's something that is added for flavor to make oh, it's a funny gag instead of wanting to shoot this character, he wants to give them flowers.
Hmm.
I would guess that it is a bad thing, especially if they went and changed it into something that he could be using for feints, because fake fireballs are always good. They're always a good thing to have.
That makes
You
sense.
know,
Yeah.
that's
I think that's really sound analysis
it-
there, Toast. I think you're spot on. Is that the final answer?
yeah, I'm gonna go with the original version of it is bad, but when they changed it into something that you could do
Yeah.
deliberately to fake your opponent out, then it became good.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I'm going to have to agree with you there. So against you, Melody, his quick draw changes from a gun to a bouquet of flowers, which only does 1 damage and has a ton of recovery on hit. It can technically be used as a tick throw setup, but otherwise, it's real bad.
If I had
It's
a
negative
nickel for
60 on
every
hit.
time that if I had a nickel for every time that throwing a 1 damage flower could be used for tick throw setups, I would have 3 nickels.
Right? I know. Isn't that crazy? Um,
We got heavy techs, we got Dudley, and we got Charlotte.
yep. Absolutely. I love it. Okay, so you win there. Next one, we will go on to number 2. We're more than halfway done, so this is one that I actually had to reach out to part of our community in the digital basement to get some feedback on, because I don't play Fantasy Strike. And for the viewers out there, my head's in the way, but you can. There you go. Hey, well, there you can see her. Um,
This one
yeah.
I am slightly familiar with because I have
Okay.
played some Fantasy Strike. I did not main this character, and I
Okay.
don't think I fought her very often.
All
I
right.
mostly played Rook the Grappler because
Yes.
it was the kind of game where I could dick around for 5 or 10 minutes with a one button command grab
Mm-hmm.
and a one button armored special, and just just do that for a couple of minutes when I had nothing better to do with my hands.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But I believe this one, she like glides forward.
Yep.
Hmm.
So
I'm
just
going
to give
to.
some clarity, it is a follow up, the C version of one of her moves. So she'll do her move, and then she can choose the C version.
I'm going to say this one. I don't remember looking at this attack very much, but if she's got the parachute out, I think this is something that kind of slows her momentum in the
Mm-hmm.
air. Um, and I know this is also a game in general where the your options for mixing people are limited
Yeah.
because there's no high-low blocking. There's a lot of left-right, but the game is very heavy on baiting your opponent, trying to get them to react to something that, isn't actually going to happen. And I remember this character also has other sorts of follow-ups where she can like do a strike or a command grab or like a
Mm-hmm.
left-right kind of thing. I'm going to say that this move is probably good just because it has another option of how she can change her trajectory in the air to try to, I don't know, bait something out or change where her hitboxes are going to be, for people thinking that one of the other follow-ups is coming.
Sure. Sure. I think that makes sense. I mean, and modularity always is good, right? Like options are always good. I think at least.
Yep.
Um,
Especially these ninja characters have lots of options for what they're doing, because if
yeah,
they
that's
don't,
true. Yeah,
that
they
that, that
need
low
it.
health that they always have is gonna be a bigger problem.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, so you're gonna say this is busted over Basra.
I would say so, just
Okay.
because giving a character more options for baiting what their opponent is going to do. If this is working the way I'm assuming it's
Mm-hmm.
working.
All right. Well, let us see. Let's check the wiki.
Alrighty.
Satsuki does her cape. Does her cape. I love it. This move catches opponents jumping out of a string. It's infamous for whiffing even if they jumped, however, so make sure you buffer the move out of a normal right away to have the highest chance of catching them. On a successful hit, you can juggle it and go back into your Starlight Tumbler mix. Oh, and there you
Okay.
go.
So maybe this is if it's infamous for whiffing on the thing it's supposed to be
Yeah.
called out, then I guess it's not good.
So,
Uh,
if I click, will it go to the next slide? Okay, here we go. I wanted to make sure it didn't. So we do have some notes from that user who I reached out to. They said it's an anti-air option from her grounded C special that whiffs on aerial opponents without specific timing. It also looks identical to her jumping C, which is the actual good move you want to be doing. So I guess jumping
okay.
C
So
does all of what this does and better, and it's the same animation, but it's not the same move.
okay. Well, that's a strange one.
Yeah, it is a weird one. I was not familiar with this one at all. The only thing I knew was that a lot of Satsuki players do this move, right? The one that looks like this. But it's not this move in particular. It's not the follow-up from Starlight Tumbler. It is her jumping C. So,
Okay.
all right. A little bit of a trick question there, and I don't think we have any
Yeah, that's a
footage.
tricky one.
So we're going to go straight to the last question, or the last official question. This one might be more up your alley, but, we have had plenty of trick questions so far, so don't let me pull the wool over your eyes by making it too comfortable. This is Angelique's standing light kick plus heavy kick, which is to say her unique action that lets her float when standing on the ground. Is this unique action good or bad? Busted or Basara?
First of all, I would like to say I play Arctina in this game, so everything Angelique does is busted.
I appreciate that as someone who tries to make her busted as much as possible. So yeah.
I'm going to say that this one is good. Like this, I haven't fought Angelique a ton other than my matches with you, but like she has ground and air projectiles. She has fairly, quick jumping attacks, and this puts her into the air quickly, giving her more options, more things that she can put on the screen, more ability to high profile some low attacks, especially with, everybody's universal overheads can be canceled in this game, but the only follow-up that you're going to be getting from that is canceling to a special or a super or something. But if this just lets her float and stick out an air button to try to catch something else, that can start a much better combo than a universal overhead could. I'm going to go ahead and say that this one, given the rest of her kit, is very good.
Okay. So interesting. I like that analysis because I think it's all true. I think everything you said was true, with one or two caveats, but that's neither here nor there. So, final answer, you're going to say the standing version of her hover is busted, or at least good.
Yeah, I
Okay.
would, unless I'm missing something and it works significantly differently than the jumping version of her hover.
It
I don't
does.
know that I'd be able to tell just by the animation alone.
Yeah.
I would say that it's still good.
Okay. Okay. Well, sorry to tell you, your intuition maybe just worked just then, but unfortunately, this is the worst version of this move. And
Okay.
I would say it's the version you should never do. Because the aerial version is so much better. And it's interesting. It's interesting because I don't really want this to be a trick question. It's more I want this to be a soapbox for me to talk about how this move works. Um, I hope you'll let me just take this moment and explain it for a
Go for
second.
it. Go for it. Go for
So,
it.
the grounded version does not work like the aerial version. The grounded version puts you in a sort of a forced jumping animation that isn't actually as fast as your jumping animation, and it takes much more time. It also puts you in this awkward state of being like basically a predetermined distance from the ground, right? So if you press some of your buttons, they won't hit. And if you press hover again while you're so low to the ground, you won't actually unhover. You will re-hover ever so slightly lower to the ground. So not only does the grounded version not really work as you'd want it to, but the aerial version doesn't really work as you'd want it to for canceling it. You just about always want to use the aerial version and cancel with a button or a special or a super. You never want to press it again to cancel it. And that's because it does this like pre-canned falling animation that's just not worth doing compared to pulling out a button or something. You know what I mean? Unless you're trying to like I don't even know, like drop to the ground really quick and block something. But otherwise, never press this button unless you really want to.
That sounds like a
Always,
really situation.
yeah. Instead, all you have to do is hold up and immediately press the same button. You will jump and then immediately do it as soon as possible. Or,
And you can try
alternatively,
version.
you can vary your height. But you'll do it so much faster, you'll be so much safer, and it will increase your offense and pressure by just not pressing this button. And that's my TED talk. Uh, thank you, Toast, for coming to my TED talk and giving me the podium for that moment. But we have one more question,
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah.
and I actually want to leave with this because we've we've had this format for 3 episodes, right? Busted or Basara. I kind of like it, but I want to expand the show onto other options, right? Other categories, other topics, other questions. I think one way of doing that is to keep this as an option for a type of trivia show, right? We can still do the Busted or Buster episodes, that's fine. But I want to try different questions as well. And one of them is the next one. It's a bonus question. Let's see if it loads
Oh, okay.
correctly. Here we go. Bonus round. It's funny that you said Street Fighter, so this works out. Which side of the character select is Vega/Claw in Ultra Street Fighter 4? Left or right?
Oh,
I
oh gosh, it's been a while.
know it. This was tough for me. I just
I
picked a
know.
random character and looked it up. I had to guess, and I didn't know this one off the top of my head. So I was like, okay, maybe this is the question I have to
But
ask.
I'm going to guess. I'm going to guess right side. Did not. I did not play Claw in Street Fighter 4 because this is a character who has to do one frame links to link his jabs together
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
doesn't even
That's
get any kind of significant like he's he's
ew.
uh he's he's obviously got some good things to him, but just like the amount of work that it takes to be good at Vega in that game. So I'm gonna say the right side just because most of the other characters that I played, I think were more towards the left side, which were gonna be Bison, Balrog.
Hmm.
Yeah, I played some Rose too, and I think she was more towards the right side. But
Sure. All right.
yeah, I'm gonna guess Vega is over on the right side.
Okay. So I'm gonna also give this to you. If it's right down the middle, if it's directly down the middle, then I'll give it to you. You know, the right side. But we'll see. We'll see. Okay, it is actually on the
Ah,
left side, only just
just barely.
so. I think Balrog splits it right down the middle. But
Yep.
yeah, I was confused at this one. It took me a while to actually even find him on the damn character select. I was like, where? I know he's in this game.
Because
I
nobody
played
picks
him, I
him. You
swear.
never see anybody pick him.
Yeah, I mean, I played him in training mode, so I have to have played him at least some point. But I've never played him in another match against a person. So, but yeah, thank you so much, Toast. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this little silly game with
Oh
me.
yeah, yeah.
I want to give you a chance to sort of do a shout out to some maybe causes you like or other events you like. But I know you also do some streaming of your own. You have a YouTube channel, you have a Twitch channel, and I want to promote that as much as I can. But is there anything else that people should check out or other places that people can find you at?
Uh, well, I mean, most of the time, any presence that I have these days is just going to be on Discord. But go hit up the Samurai Friends Discord server. We do a lot of Samurai Showdown 6 as well as other Samurai Showdown games there. Um, yeah, that's probably where I am now. I'm not I'm not posting fighting game memes like mad the way that I used to. Just you know how things are.
I do, I do. Not a problem though. It's good to see you, and I really do appreciate you
Yeah.
taking the time. It's great to hear your voice once again, and hopefully we can have you on a future episode once we've
Oh yeah.
shaken up the format a little bit.
Oh yeah, I've actually when you said that you were shaking up the format, I actually a couple of ideas came to mind. I don't know if you want to hear them
Yeah,
here or
go
just
ahead,
like talk
please.
about that later.
No, let's do it.
Okay, so in addition to, whether this move is good or bad, you could have something to the effect of how do you beat this move, where whether it's like stuffing it or punishing it, you
That's a
show
good
the
one.
attack, describe it a little bit,
Yeah.
and then give, I don't know, three options of something that might
Hmm.
stuff it or punish it,
I
but
like
only
that.
one of them is actually going to do it. Because there's, especially in these, in, the niche and less well-known games, there are a lot of, knowledge check attacks. There are things
Hmm.
that once you know how to deal with it, once you know the solution, you can deal with it. But otherwise, it just seems absurdly safe or hard hitting for what it does.
Yeah. No, I love that idea.
That could be one.
I love that idea a lot.
Uh,
I also like the idea of like block this mix. So you see the button and you have
yeah.
to pick how to block it.
Another one might be you show a character, from some obscure game, and just based on their design, whatever you can glean from their personality, maybe play their theme song a little bit. The contestant has to guess what mechanical archetype they are.
Oh, I like it. Yeah, functions. Guess my function. That's great. No, I love that. I love that. All right. Well, I mean, if you have any other ideas, and obviously anybody who's watching this, if you have any ideas, just message me in Discord or send me a message on social media or on YouTube, wherever. I would love to incorporate some of that into the show because these are some great ideas. And I think, the more fun and more silly and more interesting this gets, the better. Because, you know, I'm having a good time and I wanna share more interesting niche little trivia knowledge and have fun with my friends at the same time. So
Yeah, and whether it's for this format or any of those, I already have some some potential moves slash characters to throw your way.
perfect. Perfect. All right. Well, we'll talk after the show. I think that's a great idea. We'll collate some ideas and go back at it. All right. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Really appreciate you all for taking the time. And go check out Toast Rider.